because you ain't gonna have no fucking house. You was right on that. Right, but in a way you were right. I don't have to worry about gas because you ain't gonna have a car. All right, and because the repo man gonna take your damn car. Go ahead.
It says, "Thou shalt."
Well, and then you black woman, man, just forget about. Hey, like Albert said, just forget him. Just forget him. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall.
And that's all this devil does. He's a master at it, man. Do you think he doesn't realize what he's doing? He's been doing it so long, he's an expert at it, man. He has a system. But you want to save this damn devil. If you got something you want to bring out, brother, bring it on out. Because if we don't get it now, we're gonna get him downtown. Go ahead.
It says, the wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning.
Right now, as soon as you get it, cue me, all right? And now let's go from there to the book of Exodus, the 22nd chapter and the 27th verse. See, when you watch our videos, you're not gonna see me in a damn closet counting the fringes on my daughter's garment. All right? You go ahead.
It's good from the 25th verse.
Okay, hold that. Okay, you want to start? Where you want to start, brother?
Exodus 22.
Because it's all good.
If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee.
And by the way, that's a mortgage. A mortgage, by the word mortgage means death note. Okay, look it up. The word mortgage means death note, which is a loan. And you know what? By the time that loan is paid, your ass is already dead. And your children got to pay that loan. All right? Go ahead. So anytime a nigga goes and get a house and you get a mortgage, just know that that's a loan that you're getting from a bank, which is a death note. You got some niggas that die right in their damn house. And the mail stacks up with them bills. Go ahead.
If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer.
That means interest. The reason why people are having such a hard time with paying off their mortgage, their death note, is because you have what's called a variable interest rate. Do you know what that means? It varies. But it doesn't vary down, it varies up. It keeps going up. So it really doesn't vary, it goes up. So here you sign a mortgage, your credit's good, you know, nigga, you done finally made it, you know, you're gonna send your kid to Columbia, you know, your wife is a damn head nurse, you a vice president in a damn bank, and you done made it. Your niggas done finally made the American dream, right? Well, that American dream is turned into a nightmare because when you agreed to that mortgage and that variable rate, interest rate, let's say you paying $1,500. Oh, I can swing that. You know, my wife is working, I'm working. You know, we're doing pretty good. And we got a couple of investments going. So you deal with the $1,500, right? You deal with tax. By the way, you deal with the taxes too. Whatever town you live in, you got to pay taxes. You got to pay the water bill, so forth and so on, right? Then all of a sudden, after a year, 2 years, you get the bill, right? You're expecting to get it for $1,500. It jumps up to, it might jump up to $1,650. You get a little mad, but you say, I can still swing it. Then after a while, it jumps up to $1,850. Then you get even madder, but you deal with it. You know, you cut costs or whatever. You don't go to that vacation to Italy. You go to Las Vegas, right? Then all of a sudden it hits like $2,200, and then $2,500, and then you can't deal with it no more, and then you start to sweating, and then you can't pay, and then your wife gets laid off. And then you got to pay your daughter's bill because she got loans to go to Columbia. So she got 2 years in or 3 years in, but she can't go off yet because you ain't got no damn money. So what happens? You can't make the payment. Your house gets foreclosed on, and you're out of there, man. and the bank moves in and takes it. You don't get a goddamn thing. Go ahead.
Neither shall thou.
But you want to save Esau. Esau could be saved. Man, fuck you and Esau. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not be heard.
And that's the super rich. They're stopping their ears at the cry of the poor. You got the Rockefellers. You got the super rich families of the earth. You got the Rothschilds. You know they can write one damn check with chump change. They can make America a producing nation once again. And you see people, they can stop hunger around the planet Earth. But they're not listening to the cries of the poor. So what's going to happen to them? Read it again.
Yep, this is Proverbs 21:13. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard.
That's right. And you know that crying's going to come when we whip your ass in the kingdom. Now, I did some research on the Hyksos. Now, the Hyksos were Israelites. Hyksos meaning shepherd kings. And before we were enslaved by the people of Mizraim, which the scholars today refer to as Egyptians, you know, we were famous for our tortures, man. We used to chop your hands off, chop your legs off, beat the shit out of you, enslave you, and burn down your villages, burn down your houses, burn down everything, man. And they feared us. That's why when we came out of Egypt, it says in Deuteronomy 2nd chapter that Esau, our brethren, feared us. Because they know what we can do on a physical level. So we're going to do that to Esau and the kingdom. What you think we're going to do with Esau and the kingdom? We're gonna fuck them up. That's gonna be like a sport. You know, you watch sport to relieve tension and shit, and you hit a bag or whatever to relieve tension, right? Therapeutic. Well, our therapy is gonna be beating the hell out of you damn nations, like we did when we were called the Hyksos. They were known for beating you people down. Them Amorites and them other Canaanites, we used to go in there and beat the fuck out you, man. And then we used to take your wives and your daughters and your sons and put them into slavery. And the proof of that is when Joshua, the Canaanites lied to him, what did they do? They made him they put him in the slavery. Okay, we're going to put you into slavery. That's in our blood to put people in slavery, man. Go ahead.
That was it on Proverbs 20.
All right, now let's go from there to Deuteronomy 24, verses 14 to 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 14. It says, Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. At his day thou shalt give him his hire. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee.
That's right. And when you sin, the Most High going to destroy you. Another thing you do, you got the IRS set up, which was set up by the Rothschilds. All right? The super rich. If you don't pay your damn taxes, which that's not even constitutional, man. You know? The Constitution speaks about against a direct tax. Direct tax meaning taking something directly out of you. So that's what you do. So you don't pay it. They don't care. You know what they do? One day you get your check and 10% is missing out that bad boy. So you know, you got a lot to pay for, man. You got a lot to pay for. But a nigga will be happy with that. He's happy of Esau taking 25% out of his check or 10% or whatever. He's happy with paying a high-ass tax on goods that he buys. He's happy to, just whatever Esau wants, he's with. And he at the end of the day, he loves this man. This man uses the hell out your ass, and you love him. You right, you trust in oppression, you know? But the Most High is going to get rid of you niggas, man. All right, you weak-ass spirits. That was it on that, right? Now let's go from there to Isaiah, the 47th. No, I'm sorry. Let's go to Ezekiel, the 27th chapter and the 27th verse.
Ezekiel chapter 27, verse 27. And it says, thy riches and thy fares,
This is talking about Esau. Go ahead.
thy riches and thy fares, thy merchandise, thy mariners, and thy pilots, thy caulkers, and occupiers of thy merchandise, and all thy men of war that are in thee, and in all thy company which is in the midst of thee, shall fall into the midst of the seas in the day of thy ruin.
Read that again.
It says, thy riches and thy fares, thy merchandise, thy mariners, and
That's talking about your money, your businesses, your banks, your museums, your churches, your media. Go ahead.
and thy pilots, thy caulkers,
Your planes, your trains, your automobiles. Go ahead.
and the occupiers of thy merchandise, and all thy men of war that are in thee,
Your four branches of the military. Go ahead.
and in all thy company which is in the midst of thee, shall fall into the midst of the seas in the day of thy ruin.
You're going to fall into the midst of the seas in the day of your ruin. Now let's go from there to Revelation, the 18th chapter and the 17th verse. Go ahead.
Revelation 18 and 17. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as.
What is the importance of ships? Do Esau like to build these big ships because they like to sail around a big ship? No, because of merchants, man. Your merchandise being exported from one country to another country, being imported from one country to another country. That's called commerce. And you have merchant marines and so forth, and these merchant ships. You had a lot of people that became multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires through the ship business. Slaves. Go ahead.
For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning.
The reason why they're going to cry because it is going to be devastating to them, but they're going to lose a lot of money because you know what they found out? You ship most of your shit to America and around the world, but America, people like to buy, it's called impulse buying. They'll buy all kind of bullshit, man. They're a consumer-driven nation. So you need somebody to make these things. The United States doesn't make it. China makes it. And other nations make it. And they ship it over here. And then they become super rich. Go ahead.
Saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea.
See? I just said that earlier. People that was in the shipping business became rich off of who? Babylon. Off of what? Babylon. Go ahead.
Wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate.
Now let's go from there to Ezekiel, the 28th chapter, in the first verse. Go ahead.
Ezekiel 28 and 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord power.
Which is another name for America. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not the Most High. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from.
Through your technology. Go ahead.
With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches.
Right, traffic is talking about your business.